We'll call this, no, we won't. We'll call this meeting to order. It's a regular month, second regular meeting of the month of April, Fayette County Commissioners. We'll begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Welcome everyone out there in Zoom land and TV land today to our meeting. We're in week 5, I believe, of the shutdown. And we apologize for the inconvenience. Our courthouse is currently still closed to the public. However, we are doing as much business as possible by mail, email, or phone calls. And if you do need to come to the courthouse, I'd like to remind everyone that if you would call that office that you are needing to do business with and make an appointment, they'll be very happy to help you as much as possible. We'll go ahead and get started with approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve minutes of our last commissioner's meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion made, seconded that we approve the minutes of the previous meeting as presented. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Department reports and department head. We have Michael here today. Do you have anything for us today, Michael?
I just have the website proposal.
We can talk about that if you want.
So I gave that website proposal to all of you. That is to be split between the city and the county. That's to update the website for, I don't know when the original website design for the ConnersvilleCommunity.com website was done. It's been well before I started. I started in 2014. I want to say it's been at least 8 or 9 years since that original redesign. And this is by Red Elephant Digital Media out of Muncie. Their designs offer is pretty good, keeping in current design trends, allowing for mobile and regular website use. And it would give us the advantage of being able to have each individual department have a login to where they could log in, modify with updated forms, events, information pertaining to their department, submit it to me or John. We approve it. It goes up on the website rather than having them send information to me or John, us put the stuff up, and then have it basically depend upon us putting the things up, and we're already swamped, and then have us try to figure out, what pertains, and things get lost in the shuffle or don't make sense to us. We have to get back in contact with them and say, okay, what is this? How does this work? What is this supposed to say? Whereas it makes complete sense to them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they put it up, when it makes sense to them, they say, oh, this is this. It makes a lot of sense to them. They can put it up how they want it to look or what they want it to say. We just go up and say, yeah, looks okay, click. Or no, this needs to change. That doesn't make sense to everybody else. Or make a little adjustment so it looks better.
So this website will allow us to easily upload minutes of meetings.
Upload minutes of meetings, upload new
How about
events.
audio of meetings?
We've already got the YouTube. So we're already putting all the video of the meetings that are uploaded. If we've got meeting minutes that are recorded, There's no reason why we couldn't put meeting minutes up. Currently, the hosting, because there's two separate proposals. The proposal for the design comes up to a total of $8,000. And then if we have them do any content writing, which I don't think we were intending to have them do content writing, because currently the website's pretty much informational, pretty much hours and times and all that. There's no real, verbose content writing on there. There's no real prose, so to speak. So $8,000 to pretty much reproduce our current site with a slightly new design, new layouts, pictures, completely new code from the ground up, based upon WordPress. So this would give us more stability, more protection going forward. And then the other thing is it would also give us, a more robust website overall. And then if somebody goes to it on a mobile device like a cell phone or a tablet, it would automatically reformat to fit a phone or a tablet. And then would also help us with, we can get help from them for search engine optimization, which we don't have at all set up on the site right now, so that we'll show up on search engines better, which we don't have anything set up with right now. And then the other thing is the hosting. Right now we pay $1,000 per year for hosting between county and city, so it's $500 each. And the basic is $675 with the new site, which is 50 gigs transfer per month, 5 gigs of storage, which we're not using anywhere near that right now. So yeah, we could host video, but we've got YouTube. We could host audio. We've also got our own servers where we could redirect.
Okay, could we easily put links so that it's easy to go to YouTube, for someone to go to YouTube and link into a meeting?
Lisa Witt made a commercial for the election, and I put that up on the clerk's page. It's called an iframe, and I've already put it on our current webpage, so there's no reason why we couldn't put that on the new webpage.
Okay, fine.
So it's not hard to do.
It's not necessarily trying to put it on the website itself, but just an easy link.
Yeah, you
to-
basically, it's called embedding it. You basically just embed it in one the other.
One thing that I found sometimes when I go to YouTube to look for a meeting, it takes me longer to find the meeting on YouTube than it does to watch the whole meeting.
Yeah.
And if we could easily set it up so that it would be easy to put that link to each meeting.
The current website is just harder to edit.
Yeah.
And do that kind of thing than it is. So it's just not been worth it with everything else that I've got to do and that John has to do. So it's just not been
Right. And I
time
understand.
efficient.
And that's what I'm after, is trying to get an easier website that would.
So if each
accommodate
department can modify their own page and maintain the majority of their own page, not saying that John and I won't maintain the thing at all, but if they could do 60% of the own maintaining of their own sections, and we do less of maintaining the day-to-day stuff of their own sections when there's new events or new forms,
Right.
then we can deal with the other stuff as it comes up, add new links or add new sections of pages or whatever, then we can do that. And then that allows us to work on new things like adding new stuff.
Right.
And John has a lot of stuff in the video archive that we could possibly, as we go forward, post to YouTube or.
Michael, you looked at one company, correct me if I'm wrong, but you looked at one company that could easily set us up so that we could pay some things online and whatnot. Will this website
I think this
company
company
allow us?
had some ability to, I think this one had some ability to do some of that
That we
paying online stuff.
could work on that down the road?
Yeah. I don't know what the costs were for that. But we've already got, I think we can integrate some like the payment online for the clerk's office. I think we might be able to integrate some of that. Some of the stuff for the treasurer's office might be able to integrate with that. The utilities already has payment online for some of their stuff. CPD has some payment online stuff for some of their things. So we might be able to integrate some of those things in, or that's already existing
Okay.
into the API that's on here. I don't know the exact thing, because we didn't really get real deep into how far things could be integrated or things,
Okay.
but I don't see why we couldn't. And I know obviously we could, as we go further on, because I know like the treasurer, we've had some issues with our current credit card processor, an online processor that I've talked to her about. And she's been looking at going to another one. Well, if we go to another one, that may give us different opportunities than we have with our current one as far as integration.
Okay.
So, but I think this company seems pretty good. I think we talked to, the mayor got one quote from another company. I think it was something like $20,000.
Yeah, it was quite a bit more than that.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more.
That $8,000 cost, then, is that split with the city?
Yeah.
Okay, so then actually it's only 4,000.
Yeah, I did not have this in my budget this year. As I said in my email to you guys, I did not plan for this. So I'm not sure where we would pull that $4,000. If we would appropriate extra, if it would come from your guys' budget.
So
line.
commercial.
I wondered if we couldn't take it from our, Jane, help me.
Contracts.
Where our edit money goes.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. The edit. County share, economic development.
Yeah,
fund.
yeah.
All the ones you,
That fund, because it is, we can use this towards economic development, and I mean, our hope,
Yeah,
the mayor and
bring
I's
people in.
hope is that we could make it easier for people to get a hold of us.
Yeah, the website is to bring people in.
Yeah,
Or you could also advertise to the county on it,
yeah,
we're making them aware of things.
No, the $675 for the hosting.
split in half.
Yeah,
Right.
and I already had planned.
You have
The
that.
500 for the hosting, I already planned on the 500 for hosting, so if we get switched out before that bill is due, I can always cover that because I had already intended for paying for hosting anyway. So that's not really an issue. I just wasn't intending for a $4,000 redesign fee.
But Jane, I think without an additional appropriation, we've got money in there for that could be used for that we've set aside or kind of left
county development.
county development money. Yeah.
Michael, by your description, it sounds like we pick up considerable more flexibility. Is that
Yeah.
correct? And to allow individual department heads to do their own editing is something that we don't currently have.
No, that
Okay.
is not something we currently have.
Until just recent weeks, I wouldn't have saw the value of that, but I see it more now than I did 6 weeks ago.
Well,
We learned a lot, haven't we?
Yeah.
you don't really see it as much on that end, but there's also a good example is anytime there's a new form that comes out for the auditor's office or for the treasurer's office,
Exemption form or whatever.
exemption form, or for the
Could be
courts.
scanned in and put right on there.
Yeah, if they get a new form, that would make it easier for them. If they can just log right in, plop it up on the website and say, and then when they're on the form talking to the taxpayer and say, hey, if you just go to the website, download that form, and they can come in the door with that form already filled out. That just makes it so much easier for everybody if that's already there. And they can just fill that out ahead of time. Because I know the courts have done that before where they've asked me to change out forms that we've got on the website. And yeah, they can find them on in.gov a lot of times, but everybody knows how much of a pain it is to find things on the in.gov website for those forms because they're buried under different links on 14 different pages.
Right.
Yeah, I've been through that a number of times.
Yeah.
And even then, you're not
And-
sure you found the right version.
And sometimes you can go right to,
Yeah,
And then other
sometimes it's
times-
right there. And
You
then
know.
sometimes you find the form and you're like, okay, I found it so easy. Is this the right one?
are you sure? Am I sure this is the right one? Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier if the department head can put it right up and, okay, this is the one I want people to bring in. And put it right up there, and Jane or whoever that she assigns can just log in, pop it up there. They submit their change. John or I log in and go, looks good to me, approve. It changes. And then,
It uploads. It's done.
or you guys approve, like a couple weeks ago or a month ago, you approved the assessor to close for a couple days for training in the afternoon. Jeff Coleman logs in, he changes the blurb on the front page of his department that says we're going to be closed these days for these hours for training. He hits approve, it submits it to me or John. We hit submit and approve, and then it's changed. There's no real thing where it has to wait for me to miss it because I'm swamped or John's swamped, and then we go, oh, if we would have had time, we could have changed that.
Mhm.
But it'd be right there. So,
And I think the city is prepared to move forward
yeah,
anytime we are.
mayor's ready to go for it, I think. So,
Would give us an opportunity to update an antiquated website.
and John and I have been struggling with this website for 6 months to 9 months, and I've been trying to kind of redesign one on my own, but it's been one project amongst many, and keeping people's computers running and everything else has kind of always been more of a important project than redesigning the website from scratch.
To be quite honest with you, when the mayor started asking me about it and saying that they wanted to work on a redesign, I was expecting about 4 or 5 times that.
Yeah.
Cost.
When we got that first quote for 20-some odd thousand, I was kind of like, that's kind of what I was expecting, but then I think that company said it would take like 6 months, and that was a lot longer than I think was acceptable.
Yeah. So, and I think you've talked with 2 companies, haven't you?
I think
Or
we've
3.
gotten 2 official quotes, and I think the mayor's talked to a couple more, and John and I have talked to a couple, but never gotten
Official.
set quotes. I think I've gotten one off the cuff quote that was in the $13,000 to $20,000 range, but I never got an actual paper quote.
And this is a company from Muncie?
This is a company from Muncie. They're actually the CS Kern that is the quote for the hosting is the same company that did the one before.
Okay.
And Victor, or the guy who is running the Red Elephant Media Group, he is from CS Kern. They split off the design company from the hosting company.
I see.
So it's kind of the same group. So kind of the same people that did the design before. I mean, we really probably should have done a redesign 4 years ago, but be that as it may.
What's your pleasure?
So you need a motion to approve the Red Elephant website, or how do we state that?
Yeah, a motion to approve going forward, I think.
Going forward on the redesign?
Yeah.
At the,
Whatever, I'll do it.
with these numbers in mind. I think we ought to specify these numbers. They are a solid
Part of
quote, aren't they?
$4,000,
yeah.
right?
It's 8,000 divided by
2.
2. Yeah. We'll be sharing it. It'll be a shared project with the city of Connersville, with Fayette County. Mark's made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded that we move forward on the website redesign, sharing this project with the city of Connersville at a cost of $8,000, half being $4,000 our share, with a yearly maintenance fee of $675 that will be divided in half. Is there any other questions for Michael?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Thanks, Michael. I think we'll move on to Jalissa so that she can go do something else. Jalissa, you had a few things for us today.
Yes, it's been a very busy month. And so I had a few things that I needed to bring before the commissioners. The first thing was, it is time for our quarterly claim reports to go out. And one of the things that we always do is with the Fayette County Transit claim is we always bring it before the commissioners and tell you how much that was spent, and then ask for your approval to go ahead and request reimbursement from the state. This last quarter, there was a total spent of $117,128. And of that, allowable expenses was federal part to be reimbursed $53,424 and $31,852 in state funds. And so I just need the commissioner's approval to go ahead and to draw down that money to reimburse the Fayette County Transit for last quarter.
So, a motion?
Okay, so Julie, so the actual amount, is it 117,128, or is it 53,424, or both?
It's actually, the amount that's going to be reimbursed is less than what the quarterly expenses were, because we do have to provide at least a 20% match. And they did have that 20% match that they had spent from their local funds in a variety of ways. So the total that we expended was $117,128, but the amount that we'll be drawing down federal was $53,424, and state was $31,852, and it is a little bit less than that $117,128. But that's the amount we was allowed to claim down from the grant.
So we need to approve the 117,000.
I just need approval to submit the claim for reimbursement.
I'll move to approve the claim for reimbursement.
I'll second.
Been a motion made and seconded that we approve the claim for reimbursement for the transit department. Any questions? All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay.
Julius,
And
is that the supplementary signatures page? Is that what we need to do?
No, I do not at this time have anything for you to sign.
Okay,
They have redid everything. They have a new online system, and I actually have to get your approval, submit all of the expenditure pages that shows the breakdown of everything. They review it, and then once they review it, they kick back the actual claim voucher that we normally was bringing at the meetings for you to sign. They will kick that back to me, and then I will bring it to you, have you sign it, and resubmit it to them for reimbursement.
okay, thank you.
Also on that, while we're there, the Fayette County Transit, it's time for their application to be resubmitted. It's actually due May 12th. I am working on that grant application right now, and there has been some changes to it due to the COVID-19. What they're wanting us to do now is they're giving us a little bit more money on the federal side than what we had been receiving in the past. We'll be requesting a total of $549,173, but it will cover a year and a half. It'll actually kick in July 1st of this year and be through December 31st of next year. So that's a little bit different than what they've did in the past. I have a lot of documents that's associated with this application, such as like the pass-through agreement. There's a resolution, and there's all kinds of certifications. It's nothing new. It's something that we've did every year. I just kind of wanted the commissioners to be aware of it, and would like your permission to, I'll probably send them to Jane. And then I don't know if you want the attorney to review them. And then I will come back at your next meeting and ask for a resolution to submit the application. But I wanted to kind of give you some times and head up of what was going on with that. So, I mean, if there's any questions about that, I can answer that. But I'm assuming you're going to want to look at it, all the pass-through agreements and resolutions and all that before making any kind of commitment to go ahead and move forward with that.
For Julissa?
No.
Okay, if you could get that paperwork over to Jane so that Jeff could look at it as well.
Okay,
I'd like for him to look at it as well.
okay, I will do that.
Thank you.
The other thing that I wanted to bring before the commissioners, I've actually got several things. It's been a very busy month. The Office of Community and Rural Affairs, they came up with a rapid response fund due to the COVID-19. It was something new that they did. Most of the time, this kind of grant application process, it's lengthy. But in order to get the funds to the communities so that they could use it to help overcome these obstacles that we're facing right now, they opened up a rapid response fund, and it literally was one of those things. They had the webinar and they said, okay, on your mark, get set, go, first come, first serve basis. As long as it was an eligible project, then it's literally first come, first serve. So we had put together a letter of intent and submitted one on behalf of the county. It in no way at this point in time obligated the county for anything. It just simply stated, this is what we would like to request Okra to fund. So we have not submitted the actual application yet. It is actually completed and ready to go, but I needed commissioner's approval before proceeding. What we ended up requesting was, it was a mobile response testing screening trailer on behalf of the Fayette County Health Department. And it would be for like a trailer, generator, signage, PPE, cones, stethoscopes, thermometers, that kind of stuff, to help them when it comes to combating the COVID-19 or any kind of similar situations that might arise. So I had sent that letter in stating that we think that that we want to request money. We had also included a generator for the courthouse, but Okra had come back to us and said, you know, that's looking more toward the second stage that they're going to come out, because they're going to do another round of this, where it's more of a long-term type project. So it didn't really qualify for this first stage that they're doing. But what the Fayette County Health Department was requesting did fall into that category. There is no match requirement for this particular round. There is a procurement process that will have to take place, though, because I do not have my Okra grant certification at this time. So we would have to procure a grant administrator for this project. They allow 2.5% of the total grant amount that you're requesting to go for administration. But we're still looking at locally, probably going to have to put $2,000-3,000, something like that, with this project. So just to kind of give you a heads up that we would be coming at some point in time for that money once we go through that procurement process. So as of right now, we're not committed to anything. We did go ahead and submit that just because if we didn't, we was going to miss out on a grant opportunity. And so I would like to request the commissioner's approval to go ahead and submit the application at this time for that particular project. So right now there's no local match, but I look for at least a few thousand to have to be added at some point for that procurement of the grant administrator. Sorry, I know that was a lot of information I just threw at you.
Any questions for Melissa?
No,
Could Diane do that grant writing on that?
It's possible that she could, but it would be one of those things with her being a city employee. We will definitely send her a letter stating, you know, this grant opportunity for administration is available, and do you want to do it? It'd be something she would have to do off hours. So we would basically have to approach it the same way if I'm sending it to whatever consulting firm.
Oh, that'd be okay.
Right. I mean, she will be one that I will mail a letter out to stating, you know, we're going to need grant administration. Are you interested in applying?
So then, in other words, we'd be approving it like a rapid response grant.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
okay, I'll second the motion to authorize Jalisha to go ahead and submit the application for this grant opportunity.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay, 2 more items and then I'm done. The
Don't
community.
say up too much next time.
I
More
did.
often.
You'd think I was saving it all up at one time.
Yeah.
One of the projects that I had come to you, I guess at the last time I was at one of your meetings, was the Community Crossing Matching Grant. We did apply for that and was approved for the full $1 million that we had requested. So that was awarded. We was very excited about that. One of the items that I needed to bring before you is they had sent us the local roads and bridge matching grant agreement. It's basically just stating that we are accepting the grant award, that we're not going to give it back to them, and that we're ready to move forward with that project. This actual agreement, they just sent it to me on Friday, but it has to be signed and sent back to them within 4 weeks or we forfeit the grant. So I wanted to go ahead and come before you with that. And I didn't know if you wanted to go ahead and approve it, if it's something that you need the attorney to look over before we move forward with it. But either way, it really needs your approval, pending, I guess, his approval. But I'd like to go ahead and move forward with that. One of the reasons being is we have only 4 months to get to the point where we have already went through the procurement process and have approved a contractor for the project. So they don't let any dust settle in this project. They push you to really move forward.
Jalissa, is that the paperwork that I have in front of me for my signature only? It says local roads and bridges matching grant agreement.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody want to?
And that's where the supplemental signature page comes in. They
Okay.
want the signature of all 3 commissioners.
Okay.
And why they didn't put it on that one, I don't know. I'm assuming because of all the other signatures that from the state and such that has to take
Yeah.
place.
Okay. And my memory serves me correctly, Jalissa, I think this is the first time we've got the maximum.
I believe so.
So kudos to the new grant administrator.
I had lots of help. I can't take full credit for that.
See, even Diana couldn't accomplish this one. You got it the first year.
Well, Diane helped me. Let me tell you.
I'll move that we sign the agreement with the approval of the lawyer.
I was going to ask if the county attorney had had a chance to
I haven't.
glance at that.
I'm going to guess a lot of it's boilerplate language, but I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
it being sent to me and allow me just 24 hours to review it.
Okay.
At a quick glance, it looked to me like pretty much the same thing we've seen before.
Yeah, we signed.
I think it's okay to approve it pending.
Pending
Yes.
Okay.
I will tell you that odds are it's pretty much a boilerplate language. There's not a lot of changes that we need.
Right.
All right.
I'll second.
You'll add that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll second Mark's motion, pending the county attorney's approval of the contract language.
There's been a motion made and seconded that we accept the contract matching grant agreement contract with NDOT. I believe it's with NDOT, isn't it, Jalissa?
Yes.
And for community crossings grant money, pending the approval of our attorney. Is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Jalissa, if my memory serves me correctly, we'll have to show an appropriation for the match money fairly quickly for the state.
Fairly quickly.
Okay. So
Like
we
I
need,
said, they don't want no nothing growing under your feet on this one. They keep you hopping on these.
do you have that dollar figure in front of you, right quickly that we'll need to set up an appropriation for?
Yes, let me see.
Wasn't that like 333,000 or something like that?
Yeah, let me see if I can find the exact, I think it's just stating 25% of what the total project cost is. Sorry, I do not have that in front of me.
Okay, that's all right.
But I know it's 339,000. I just don't remember the odd dollar after
Yeah.
that, so.
Yeah, that's
And
like.
change.
Right.
So with that, do we want to ask Jane to prepare an additional for the council's meeting? And do we have time yet to get
Probably not.
for advertisement and everything?
As soon as they can get in the paper now, it'll be Thursday, and I don't think that gives us enough days.
Here.
Did Jay already request this? Jay requested 250 for match grant. So it's not enough, but I mean, he's requested part of it, because that was in the things.
See, I think everything Jay was gonna ask for an additional was not part of community crossing. But I don't know what was already.
Well, it said match grant, though. I mean, I requested it for the match
Oh.
grant account. But it was 250, because I think they thought it was only a 25% match.
Well, I think it's 25% of the total project, me. It's always been 300 and some thousand. A little over 300,000.
Which is at 329,000.
So let's talk with Jay and
Yeah,
make sure that we've got that. If not, do we want to ask Jane to do the proper advertising to get enough money in there?
Absolutely, we have to put the money in. The additional appropriation that the council handled at their last meeting was not,
I'm saying this is what I advertised for this coming $250,000 additional for the May 5th.
okay, the May 5th additional request is for this or not.
I think it's for this. It said match grant on their additional appropriation paperwork. I mean, that's how I advertised it,
That's the way I read it.
was match grant, okay.
Alright.
But it was only 250.
So we
But
need
there
to
was-
find out whether he's got enough to cover.
Yeah.
Already in that line item. He may have some in there that he was planning on using. So we'll, between Jane and I, we'll check on that. Make sure that we get the proper things done. Jalissa, do you have anything else?
I have one more thing.
Okay.
It's on the same project, the community crossing. And we had received a proposal agreement for general engineering services for the 2020 community crossing projects. We had paid Butler Fairman to do the preliminary engineering, which was the cost estimates that we submitted along with the grant, because that was something that we had to have before we could move forward or submit the grant. And so this is like the phase 2, where they would do all the bid documents and then do the construction inspection. But they had submitted that to the commissioners for approval. It's for the outline scope under the general service agreement dated July 11th, 1994. And it's a phase 2 to the January 2020 agreement. But it is for the bid documents and construction engineering as we move forward with the community crossing grant program. I think this is the same thing that we did the last time you guys had received an award. So nothing unusual as far as that goes. We're looking at a total of $22,400. One of the reasons I'm going ahead and bringing it to you now is because we would need to advertise for the construction project, the first one around like May 13th. So we would need approval for this so they can go ahead and start getting all those bid docs ready. Because once again, they are wanting the procurement of the contractor to be complete and a bid already be awarded within 4 months of the execution of the contract. So. And we'll have to advertise twice. And you've got so many days in between each of those ads that you have to wait.
Jalissa, what kind of a bid opening date are you?
Bid opening, we're looking at approximate schedule of June 8th.
June 8th, okay,
Mhm.
is our goal. And
Right.
that'll leave us some room to,
Right, and just in case something turns up, maybe, the bids come in and they're just too high or something like that turns up, that will give us just a little while to adjust it if we have to.
okay. Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the phase 2 contract with Butler then.
I'll move to approve the phase 2 contract with Butler, Fairman, and Seaford.
I'll second it.
It's a motion made and seconded for the approval of phase 2 of the Butler Fairman Seaford contract for our community crossing grant and paving project. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that all you need today?
That is it for right now.
Okay. Jane will have these signature pages for you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. And then, Jane, you said Jeff already has a copy of this? Okay. Oh, are you? Would you like to read the big print?
No, I like looking at tiny print on a cell phone.
Do you? Okay. All right. Moving on, we have Michelle Dudley is not here today with Community Corrections. However, she had a request for approval of potential employees. Did everyone see those names?
Yeah, I saw that.
I got it back here.
I lost track. Is there 2 or 3 now?
There are 3.
Okay.
On it too.
Okay.
As of today, or
She sent the third
yeah, today she sent the 3rd one.
Yeah.
or yesterday.
I guess I opened it today.
Yeah, that's,
What made me think it come today?
Which two have you got there? Short? Okay, this is the one that came in today.
And we need to approve all 3 of those?
Yeah. These are applications. I don't think that, I can't remember now. I don't think that she's absolutely made up her mind on these. And well, she had 1, 2, or 3 openings.
I think she was wanting to approve them all for part-time help, wasn't she?
yes.
Okay.
If I understood her correctly.
Some of those marked part-time and full-time.
Yeah.
But I think all she has is,
I'll move that we approve all 3. Do we got a name?
I can. I'll second the motion to approve the 144 requests for the Fayette County Community Corrections Department for Isaiah Fosnight, Jeffrey Short, and Danny Clark.
motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded for the approval of the 3 applicants for 144s for facility officers for community corrections. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. All right, that takes care of Michelle. Michael's done. Jeff, do you have anything for us today?
I do not.
Okay. One thing that I'd like to, for everyone, to keep Lisa and her family with, and her family in our prayers. They had a house fire last night and lost everything. So as she's coming into trying to accomplish a primary election, she now has this on her plate as well. So everyone got out of the house safely, the way I understand it. However, they lost 98% of everything.
I had heard just early this morning that they'd had a house fire, but I didn't know how severe it was.
So please, let's keep them raised in our prayers, and offer any help that we can help for Joan. Any mail that needs to come before us, Jane? Old business. We talked about a night deposit or a deposit box for taxes, child support, any other fees that might come to the county that we could later down the road work into it. I've researched it a little more, talked with Lisa and LaLonda. They said that there was no problems with internal controls, that they could easily work that out. They recommended this box, which would hold up to 500 payments. It looks to be very sturdy and secure. My suggestion, and they agreed with me, a good place for a drive-up drop-off would be right out here at the Horseshoe, maybe at that, right in front of that post, that one step post, because there are two lights that are right there. Michael said if the cameras didn't have good view, he could easily put another camera out there that would have good view of it. This box total would come to $2,941 with a 4-week turnaround on the order. If we chose to pay an extra $150, they could turn it around and get it to us in 10 to 14 days, I believe he said.
I would like to go ahead and move that we get the drop box and also go for the faster turnaround for extra $150. But it is something we need. We can always use in the future. Or anything else like this ever happens again.
You looked at it?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. I'll second your motion. Go ahead and get the drop box.
There's been a motion made and seconded that we go ahead and purchase the drop box, and Lisa has stated that 4D will help pay for a percentage of it as well. So dollar amount is unknown at this time, but she said she would go ahead and research it and she would reimburse for motion made and seconded that we go ahead and purchase the box and pay the extra fee to get it here quicker. Any questions? I would probably suggest, or I guess I'm asking, would Kim cap the remodeling line item? Would we be able to take it from there?
I haven't looked at that balance for quite some time. I
So
couldn't
at
tell you.
100,000.
Check the notes here, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't have that on my. Yeah,
but I don't see a problem with using that line item
I wouldn't think so.
from a legal standpoint.
No.
And I think there's plenty of funding there. And money still there, so.
Our Cume cap balance is $857,000.
I'm sorry,
Our Cume cap balance is
the line item, the budget line item of remodeling, what's left in there? I don't think we've used any
We just spent that 22 something for the jail.
for the jail.
Boiler, yeah. So
The
it would be
water
like
heater.
a little less than 50.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. I'll see to it that it gets ordered. Bill, Bill and I talked about it the other day, and once we get done, if we want to step out there and look at the location that he and I was looking at, then we
I think
can.
that'd be an ideal place.
It's really the only place people can drive up to,
Yeah.
anywhere around the courthouse, without taking out parking spots. And, or that I could see anyway, and it still be lit, well lit,
And also have camera access.
and camera already accessed there. So, okay. Any other old business? Do you have anything, Dale, on your notes?
Well, we did get a letter that you guys should have seen the other day from DLZ telling us they were continuing to process information they'd gathered from the sheriff's department and others about the remodel or potential remodeling of the old Dollar General store. So the way I don't know why this is taking so long, but the way they talk, they should be done relatively soon.
They said they'd let us know when they had it ready.
Yeah, that was the only other piece of mail that I could remember.
I should have asked Jay while he was here, but have you heard anything is, what is it? 565 or they're over there by Mike Keller's. Is that holding up?
I was through there a couple of weeks ago and it had some potholes in it, but it hadn't slipped anymore. It's staying in place. And it's open and passable.
Just wanted to make sure that it's not slipping. Jay's had a lot on his plate trying to take care of flood damages and storm damages.
Yeah.
I knew maybe he hadn't had a chance, maybe hadn't had a chance to get out there lately. Okay, if there's nothing else on old business, we'll move on to new business. I have a GPA plan resolution. It's with our insurance, health insurance, employee health insurance. This is due to the, Jane, can you explain this better? I'm stumbling here.
They just asked if, they gave it to all their clients to see if they wanted to handle any COVID-19 health-related costs in a different manner. So we just had to go through and say that our insurance would pay it as the same as any other illness, and there was a few other check boxes. I don't remember what they were. A couple of them are required because of the CARES Act, but a couple we had the option to either be like waive the deductible or.
The boxes that, correct me if I'm wrong, the boxes that they recommended that we check
Yes,
are the ones checked
yes.
on there.
Yeah, the couple that were already checked are required by the CARES Act, and then the ones that are by X-Smart is what Apex recommended we do.
I think the boxes they had pre-checked for us were necessary to keep our policy compliant with the new Families First.
Yeah, I think I'm saying CARES Act, and it's not, it's the
Families First legislation package, yeah. So we were pretty much depending on Angela Oberman's recommendation on that. So I'll move to approve the amended GPA plan resolution as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the GPA plan, amended plan that was presented. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Okay. Any other new business?
I got something for you.
Okay.
We currently have a commissioner's deed sale scheduled and advertised for Friday, May the 1st.
No, we did not.
Sorry.
Okay, when did that happen?
Last week,
Okay,
because they sent an email asking when we wanted to reschedule.
There seemed
And
to
I
have been
don't have a
some
rescheduled date.
misinterpretation of emails or something, and they did not go ahead and schedule it for May 1st.
okay. I talked to Joe Edwards from SRI yesterday. And he was under the impression that we were still scheduled for May the 1st, for some reason or another.
Okay, there's definitely some confusion there because I got an email from Joe that said let's plan a date in June. So
He said, what in June?
let's plan a date in June.
That's what he was telling me.
Yeah,
He was recommending at least a 40 or 45 day delay in that sale, which would put it in the last half of June.
right.
And he was kind of hoping that we could tell him something after our meeting today, if possible, what we might have in mind. We have to balance their schedule with what
Well,
was
see,
on.
that's how we left it because when he asked me to set a date in June, I responded with my response. I said, let's plan a date in June if we can, whenever you have available. And the last email to me on the subject was he would see what they had and get back with me, and I've not heard back.
Okay.
So
Well, do we need to officially cancel or delay our original May 1st date that we had set for this months ago?
I guess I'm confused.
I mean, we never actually advertised that. Like they didn't go ahead and run the advertisements in the newspaper. And we set a date and we did, like, they sent the letters out and everything. They didn't put the ads in the newspaper. So I mean, I guess we need to officially say we're not having it in May, but I can't give you a reschedule date. I don't have one.
Well, there's definitely something lost in communication here. That's for
Are you
sure.
able to contact him? Via real voice? And try to accomplish.
Like live on camera, or you have real voice?
So
Seems
that we
like
could,
It might make sense to continue the May date to a date that's not been determined yet.
well, I just want to make sure that the email that Jane and I read give us the impression that it was never advertised for May 1st. Legally, that there was never a legal advertisement.
But it sounds like letters may have went out.
Well, it may have,
So what we'll probably have to do is resend those letters with a due date and then advertise. But it might be prudent to not do that until closer to time because
man,
who knows what situation we'll be in. We hope that.
But there is a time frame. I think those letters have to go out from,
Yeah, they have to go out a certain X number of days before the actual sale date.
Right, right.
those letters go to the adjoining property owners? Or
I think there is some adjoining property owners involved, and there's also, the legal ad for the bidders and
yes,
everything else.
but as far as letters, I don't, are there any personal letters that go out, say, to individuals, or is it just letters of advertisement?
That's a question for Joe Edwards. I couldn't answer that.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I've got Joe Edwards on speakerphone. Can you hear us, Joe?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I discussed yesterday. Neil and I talked yesterday a little bit about another date, and I just, obviously, the May 1st really pushed it at this point. Even with the governor's orders, because I've actually just watching the governor, and I got this call, and the talk continues to be the May 1st thing will probably happen, but it's not going to be for large gatherings. It's not going to be for, everything. It's going to be more of a timed out thing, so, don't expect it on May 1st, everybody's gonna just go about their business.
Right.
That kind of movie houses, those kind of things. Anything where there's a gathering of people, will not be happening, so, my fear that I talked to Dad yesterday is we don't want him to have a sale when they show up. That's not good for anybody, and I just should all put one time into this when the time comes at the sale. We want people there, we want to have a robust group of bidders and sell some properties for you guys, so, yeah, I think, and like I told him yesterday, people, the problem is just the complete uncertainty of whatever date you pick on a calendar, whether or not things are going to be back to normal by then. So I certainly suggest 30 plus days, just so we don't run into that problem, because obviously the cost of advertising and all that were cheap, and nobody wants to have to pay it twice. So,
And we haven't paid it the first time, right?
correct.
Okay, that's what we thought. We thought we understood your email.
Yeah, so, and another option is to do it online. That's completely up to you guys. If you want to do that, that way there's no risk. But I'm not sure the success of a sale like this is as good online as it is when you have a live sale.
Right.
But we have a lot of certificate sales this year moved online because they came right up on their date, and I either already advertised or didn't want to spend the money I re-advertised, so we just converted it over to an online sale, so we knew what happened. I mean, we have a couple sales going on right now in some counties, so, and that was the option they chose, but we also had a few that just bumped it back to June, for instance. And it does not matter to us at all.
Do you have room towards the last week in June?
Well, we'll make room. I mean, that's not, we had so many things canceled or rescheduled. Now, in fact, I was looking yesterday, I was talking to Dale to June 24th as a potential date.
Joe, when we talked yesterday, you recommended a 40 to 45 day delay, would just certainly put us in the last half of June. But as of right now, I wasn't sure what SRI's schedule looked like. So we can, if it would facilitate matters, we could just give you a date today. But then once we do that and you advertise it, and we're on the hook for that date unless something else crazy happens, right?
Yes, and you can certainly do that. Pick a date, and then I'll do a calendar, and we'll move toward that date. There still remains the option if we get up, a week before, and it looks like this thing came back strong again, shut stuff down again. The governor says everybody go home again for a few weeks. We can then convert to an online sale if you want to save that date and save having the sale. So that's like the last resort thing. We've done that several times in the last month or so. Just obviously the uncertainty is terrible for everybody. But so if we pick a date, let's say I'm throw this up. Let's say June 24th. We're moving along, everything's great. All of a sudden on June 15th, the governor sees those numbers changing and more people getting sick, and he said, we're going to shut down for a month. And what we can do is convert the sale to an online sale, so you haven't wasted any of your advertising. We wouldn't have to re-advertise. We've been running just a very small little, I call it legal ad, but it's not that the list all the properties or anything like that. Just basically announces that the sale's being converted to an online sale. Here's the website, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, we post all the stuff as this is going along on our website, and if we would convert it to an online sale at some point, obviously not something we need to decide properties, they have to see that the sale is now going to be online versus in your commissioner's room. So that's kind of the last resort option to save the sale when we get to that. If we got all those scenarios worked out like that, then there is a way to save that date by doing an online sale. But yeah, I think picking a date that far away, near that far away, man, just gotta be hopeful. You know, I'm watching, just you said, watching the governor, and hear a lot of hopeful stuff come out of that press conference. So, we all have to, I guess, just keep praying and hoping that's going to turn and stay turned. So,
From a legal standpoint and a taxation standpoint, is there any reason why we need to have it in the first half of the year?
not at all. And the reason I say that is because you guys already own these properties. You've already got the deed. So there are no taxes, the issue that the governor did on May 10th taxes being nobody's not being assessed till July doesn't affect this in any way at all.
Okay. So even if we were to sell these at the end of the year, they could still be put back on the tax rolls for 2021's pay?
Yeah, any correct. 21, 22.
22, okay.
Right. So, and we could have two sales. I mean, you can do with these properties because you already have the deed to them, so they're your property. You got this one is a public auction. You could have one in June and decide to try to sell the rest of them in November or whatever. I mean, they're not really. There's no real deadline for you guys.
Okay.
Because you own these, so it's a little, because of all this mess that we're in, we got the deeds perfect right along time. So we're really just to look at the detail is two-pronged. First of all, you got to work to get the deed, then you turn the table to sell the deed. So we got through the first prong, great, but because of no reliance on the public, but then obviously the sale part, but that can happen anytime. Doesn't affect taxes, doesn't affect any of that.
Okay, so do you have June 24 open on the SRI schedule?
I do, and I was looking at my calendar. It happens to be my birthday, which is that stands out on my calendar because I don't remember it. See, I remember that 63 other times. So
We'll bring a cake for you that day.
oh well,
Cupcake.
that's a perfect day then.
There's some other things I could say, but I won't. We're on a televised meeting. Joe, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What about I know there are some local people who thought that and had been told that this sale was originally for May 1st. Now, was it ever advertised that way?
No, but it was on our website for a while, but I think it's down now.
Okay,
Waiting on this to get cleared up.
it must have been your website then is where they got the information.
Yeah,
That
might have
it
been.
was May
And
1st.
I've had callers too myself from buyers, and I feel like they're, the call was more like, you guys aren't really going to do this on May 1st, right? So I don't think people are going to be willing to come to a sale that quickly. But,
Yeah.
Probably not.
and we'll obviously put it up on the website fairly quickly. Put the new date, June 24th or whatever it is. We'll put it up. And again, it shows all that stuff appears where people go looking to live, because that's where the buyers go when they go on our website.
You guys got a date you prefer?
No.
I'm just wondering if June 24th is too soon. I don't know if there's,
Who knows?
if there's a reason for us to try to push it that soon, or whether we would have more people, more potential buyers that would be more comfortable later in the summer or early fall.
You know, the last sale I sat in on, there was maybe about 20 people called in.
We have good crowd here.
Yeah. So,
And that's, you know, there's so many things that have been postponed and then finally canceled. So I don't want that to happen. I mean,
Well, that's my concern.
our tax sale seminar, which we do every year in March, we postponed it to the first week of June, and now we're looking like we're gonna need to, because there's a couple hundred people that come to that, so we're looking at probably having to just postpone and cancel for the year. And, you know, I saw the NACO people canceled their conference already for the middle of August. You know, National Association of Counties, that's kind
Yeah.
of shot in the house. How soon some of these things are getting canceled, but in the middle of August, I hope, goodness gracious, I hope we're back to a little bit of normalcy by then.
I hope so, but I'm not gonna bet on it.
Yeah, I'm not betting on anything anymore.
So, I mean, I don't care. I'm just concerned about paying the advertising fees. And I just don't think an online sale is the answer for cars on Bay County.
It's not the
Yeah.
best.
I would,
We're going to be in a tension, situation where we,
Right.
I would prefer not to have an online sale if we can avoid that. So I don't know. We're just all throwing darts in the dark here as far as when things will be back to some reasonable sense of normal. Is June 24 too early? I don't know. But we don't want to we can't let this thing go on forever. So I'm open to anyone's suggestion on it, as far as date wise goes, but the sooner we can give you a date, then the sooner you can post it on your website and,
yes.
you know, let
First thing I'll
the,
do is a calendar so the auditor will know when the advertising is going to happen and all that stuff. So I do that within a few days. I get a calendar put together with that final sale date. But I can do that anytime. There's no rush on any of that. I mean, like I say, the fact that you own those properties right now, it gives a little more flexibility.
So Joe, can you give me a rough ballpark? If we establish a date, for instance, June 24th.
Yeah.
Can you back that up and tell us when our advertising dollars begin so that we could say, okay, by this date, we have to either cancel that or postpone it, or we can go forward with it?
Yeah, that'll be, yes. The answer is yes. It'll be in the calendar, exactly. So the day the ad gets approved and gets submitted, yes.
Okay, because correct me if I'm wrong, if we postpone this date and we've already started all the advertising fees, we'll pay those fees again for the new date, correct?
Yes, anytime we get to the point in the calendar when the ad has to be submitted. If it gets canceled after that, then that just takes us on it pays for the next two, yes.
Okay, but off the top of your head, you don't know how far back, whether that's 2 weeks or 3 weeks or
It would be a month.
a month? Okay, so somewhere around the latter part of May, we would have to decide for that June 24th date to move forward or to postpone it again.
Yes, yeah, about a month from now, we have to be making a decision now.
and Joe, if worse came to worse, there's no reason why you couldn't have an outdoor auction out in the parking lot, is there?
Believe it or not, I did a tax sale outdoors last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that time of year, our only risk is it was rainy, but
Yeah, if the need arose, that would eliminate the need to have a group of people in the same room.
Indoors. Yeah, so I mean, that's not something we haven't done before, so, we can do it again.
Yeah.
So do we want to set
Except
the
that Saturday still
24th?
happened to be the last day of October. It's just a little bit too chilly for my taste, but,
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay in June, so, yeah.
If people want to buy something, they don't care how cold it is.
No.
So do we want to officially try the
I'd say go
24th?
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
Okay, I'll move we set the date of June 24. What time of the day we want to do this in, Joe?
Usually 7 and 10 a.m.
10 a.m., okay. I move we officially set our commissioner's deed sale, June 24, 10 a.m.
Perfect.
here at the courthouse, either in the commissioner's boardroom or in the parking lot, whichever seems the wisest decision at the time. Okay,
Is there a second?
Second it.
Motion made and seconded that we set June 24th, 10 a.m. as our commissioner deed sale. And we'll go with that date until we have to address it at a later time before our deadline for advertising. But any other questions for Joe?
I'll get the calendar out this week, which will have all specific dates and when the ad runs and all that stuff, and I'll get that out
Okay,
to Jane and you guys later this week. And, just move forward to the 24th. No, I appreciate your time today. Appreciate, dealing with these things that Ron used to deal with.
right.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Joe, for taking time.
Anytime. Any questions, give me a call.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye. Any other questions? All in favor?
all right,
3 ayes. All right, that takes care of tax sale. Potential.
Yeah.
Deed sale, not tax sale, I'm sorry.
potentially.
Any other
Yeah,
things?
I have something here. On our policy, or sick leave policy. Since this was put in to effect, we've got insurance to cover sick leave.
Mhm.
And also being as we got the, coronavirus running around, we're gonna have to conserve our money. We want to do away with this whole policy and establish a new one.
I think the only thing that we'll have to address if we're interested in trying to conserve our expenditures due to potential or most likely a revenue shortfall for the next 2 years, at least the next 2 years. I think we actually have to address is the second paragraph of 4.3. Because our disability, and Jane, correct me if I'm wrong, but our short-term disability does not kick in till the 8 days, till day number 9. Isn't that correct?
I don't know about short-term disability, workers' comp doesn't pay the first 7 days.
I think if it's still designed the way we designed it when we put it in effect, we give them the 8 days and then the short-term disability takes over after, if it's any longer than the 8 days. But it may have been
I would
modified.
have to research.
When we first instituted the disability, the short-term disability. So I think we still need the 8 days in there, but on November 1st of 2012, the commissioners of the past initiated the paid reimbursement for unused sick days. And I think what you're talking about, Mark, is just that part of it, isn't it? That we want to try to save some money. That cost us approximately $38,000 to $40,000 a year to reimburse those unused sick days. That, I don't think that's gonna be the answer to all of our potential shortfalls, but it sure will be a good start to try to start cutting.
So what we need to do, make a motion to,
I think if we want to get rid of this, correct me, Jeff, if I'm wrong, we would want to appeal that paragraph of the handbook, correct?
You'd want to repeal that portion of the paragraph, except for you'd want it to still say that they get the 8 days.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It would be the second sentence of that, wouldn't it? Beginning on November 1st, 2012, and each year thereafter, full-time employees shall receive payment for any unused sick days accrued in the previous 12 months. That sentence would have to be repealed.
so you want to strike the last sentence in that paragraph?
Yes.
Which is paragraph 2 of 4.3.
Yeah.
I'll move to make that change of striking the second sentence in the second paragraph.
I'll second the motion.
Been a motion made and seconded that we repeal the second sentence of the second paragraph in 4.3 of our policy handbooklet. Made and seconded. Is there any other discussion or questions, comments? I guess my only comment there again is the fact that we could potentially be looking at several $100,000 of shortfall in just income taxes alone for next year, not counting property taxes this year.
There's a lot we don't know yet.
There's a lot of unknowns, and I think we need to start looking
Prepare
at
now.
curbing our expenditures now.
Yeah.
Is what I'm afraid of. I think it would be easier if we start now instead of later. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. You were presented, I think you have in front of you the county treasurer's
Oh, yeah.
monthly report
Got the treasurer's report here.
for your to look over. Anything else under new business?
Yeah, I got another one for you here.
Did you find something?
Yeah. You guys remember when we had those rumble strips put on Ziegler Road?
Mm-hmm.
They're worn out.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to, and the tar tracks, there's nothing left of it. So, the property owner out there gets his house ran into on a regular basis, wondering, whether we should, replace those, or should we come up with a different solution? Because I know when we put those down, we actually had Jake consider, I think, cutting grooves in the pavement. We opted to do these stick-on
To try that.
and then they didn't last. So for all practical purposes, they're not doing anything right now because you drive through there and look at it, there's a greased tire track that was stripped that wide where there's nothing left of it.
I noticed that the other day when I was out there.
Well, you should have wrote that down.
That'd be like the groups cutting up like 44 going to Liberty.
Yeah.
They make you rumble when you go through.
Yeah.
I would think it'd be the best idea.
So do we want to have Jay to,
Price that.
yeah, check and see what our alternatives are other than glued down strips, because obviously that's never going to work.
I guess my only concern is right after they were put out there, he claimed that they were driving left to center to go around them. So,
Put them on both sides of the road.
Yeah.
so I don't know, I don't know how you fix it without having law enforcement out there to stop some of that stuff.
Well, for all practical purposes, we're back where we started from.
Yeah, we are.
So you guys, I'll talk to Jay about this. If you guys want Jay to come up with some alternative solution for that, we'll have him come
I'd say-
later with another suggestion or,
Obviously, just cut the whole road. That way they get them both ways. If they drive around them, they're still gonna be in it.
well, it was mainly the bus drivers that was driving around them.
Where they
That was
go.
my understanding.
Yeah. But anyhow, be aware that,
I think if we're gonna do the rumble strips, I think it's time to do something more permanent.
oh yeah, you're either gonna have them or you're not, because what we tried just didn't last.
But the question is, when they were there, did they work?
Put a toll gate
And
on.
I'm,
I think consensus is that yes, it did help.
that's what I was after.
Yeah.
Because I haven't talked to Donald
You know,
since they were putting
I
it,
think he would tell you that,
other than those that chose to drive left to center.
yeah. Some people are hard cases.
So I, it's my opinion, if those strips 80% worked, then it's worth doing a more permanent fix.
I think that's a reasonable conclusion in this case.
And I wouldn't be opposed to it at all, getting prices on it and trying to get it in the budget.
Well.
Have some room, see if we can make room in the budget to get it done.
We want to have Jay take
Yeah.
another stab at it, take a look at it, make some recommendations. Okay,
If you want to know, talk to it
I'll talk
personally.
to him about that.
All right, anything else?
I'll move to the.
No, I'm out of notes now.
Are you?
Yeah, sure. Check your pockets.
Yeah, check your pocket.
I'll move to do claims and payroll.
Motion made to sign claims and payroll as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. And I'll sign and pass them down. You know, this group that's coming down, they were paper clipped separate, so we might keep them separate from everything.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we have to for sure, but just think.
Make this a different stack, Mark. Or a
Okay.
different stack.
Just double stacking?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that. That was already signed. James, looks like it was from the last one.
These minutes.
All right, here's the finger, or the paper clip that those were cleared with. Before we do adjourn, I wanted to ask the question, if the commissioners intended to change our current policy of close to the public, whether we wanted to address that today, address it next meeting. We do have taxes coming in. I don't know. I have talked with most of the office holders that will be dealing with the public, that if we do open the doors currently, and we've created some strategic plans of maintaining distance and still doing business. So I just wanted us to all be on the same page. If we do have intent of opening it, the courthouse, for essential business only.
Well, that's our current status, right? Essential.
I'm not sure I think most all offices are meeting people at the front door, aren't they? If they need to come to the courthouse. They're not coming in.
I think, until our governor tells us otherwise, we ought to maintain what we have right now and protect our employees.
Okay. All right. And I'm fine. Either way, I just want to make sure we discuss it.
I know it's driving everybody nuts, but why take the chance of it all starting back up again? It don't need to start with our county.
I know we have some people that or some offices that are working from home. And I'm not sure that how heavy of a workload.
I believe
they
our
have,
people are doing a great job.
how heavy their workload is.
Somebody needs some time off.
I applaud our elected officials. They've done a very good job of being here and keeping their offices open, and they know who they are. I appreciate what they've done. I'm not out at the coffee shops and so on and so forth to hear people talk, but I haven't had any phone calls of complaints.
Well, the governor's current executive order runs through Friday, May 1st.
Yes.
And I think I don't think he'll let things completely expire that day. There will probably be a some measured, relaxation.
He's talking with 5 other state governors too, and they're all gonna
Yeah.
go together.
We will be meeting on the 5th. So,
Well, if need be, I mean, if he can, if need be, I'll come in here for a special meeting just to do
Oh, I
something
know.
special if
Yeah, I
we
know.
if we need to, you
I
know.
know you would.
But, we wouldn't have to particularly wait until May the 5th. But, you know, the minute he changes, relaxes things,
All hell's gonna break loose.
Well, if we're not careful,
Here, yeah.
if the communities aren't careful, it will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hate to do it, but you about have to.
Some people may run out in the streets immediately. A lot of them, I don't think will. I think they're going to continue to be cautious. I think this has been a life-changing experience for a lot of people, and regardless, we can give the all clear, and there's still going to be people say, "I'm not coming out yet."
Yeah, I don't blame them.
No, I don't blame them either. So everyone will have to make up their own mind about that. But as far as actually doing normal business around here, again,
They're still letting you go into Walmart. Other
Yeah.
stores are still having curbside service.
you know, and believe it or not, from what I can gather, like Walmart and Kroger are your 2 busiest places in town right now. And it seems like none of their employees have come down with the virus, which is a testament to what they've done to protect their employees. So it could be better, but it could be worse.
Right. Okay, so we want to keep everything status quo then?
Yeah.
Currently.
And that's just a reason for a special meeting and make a change or something.
All right.
Does that take care of
Anything else?
If we do, but here's another thing, Gary, before we do, say, okay, we're gonna throw the doors open. Whatever we do, we really should coordinate that with the courts, because the way they're operating right now, I think there should be some coordination between what we do and what the courts,
What they have to say.
because they've got to start scheduling hearings and I don't know, Jeff, you know more about what goes on up there than I do.
Got to start answering phones.
As long as they're not on the path where they're wanting to have significant set of hearings again and we're closed to the public, as long as we're open before they want to do that, there's not going to be a lot of problem.
They'll let us know, won't they?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll get in touch with us the second they start having some issues. They haven't had any yet, but my assumption is if they start anticipating sometime in May to start having regular routine hearings again, then we may have to change some policies regarding the doors. But I don't think it's going to be a problem timing wise.
Okay.
But if I hear anything, I'll let you guys know.
Good. Thank you. Anything else?
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion made to adjourn and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Meeting's adjourned. All right.